though far more cause, yet much less spirit to curse abides in me. I say amen to her.
Stay, madam, I must talk a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter. For my daughters, Richard, they shall be praying nuns, not weeping queens, and therefore level not to hit their lives.
You have a daughter called Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious.
And must she die for that? Oh, let her live, and I'll corrupt her manners, stain her beauty, slander myself as false to Edward's bed, throw over her the veil of infamy. So she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter. I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
Wrong not her birth, she's a royal princess.
To save her life, I'll say she is not so.
Her life is safest only in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers.
Lo, at their birth good stars were opposite.
No, to their lives, ill friends were contrary.
All unavoided is the doom of destiny.
True, when avoided grace makes destiny. My babes were destined for a fairer death if grace had blessed thee with a fairer life.
You speak as if that I had slain my cousins.
Cousins indeed, and by their uncle, cousined, of comfort, kingdom, kindred, freedom, life, whose hand soever lanced their tender hearts, thy head, all indirectly, gave direction. No doubt the murderous knife was dull and blunt till it was whetted on thy stone-hard heart to revel in the entrails of my babes, but that still use of grief makes wild grief tame. My tongue should to thine ears not name my boys till that my nails were anchored in thine eyes, and I in such a desperate bay of death, like a poor bark of sails and tackling reft, rush all to pieces on thy rocky bosom.
Madam, so thrive I in my enterprise, and dangerous success of bloody wars as I intend more good to you and yours than ever you or yours by me were harmed.
What good is covered by the face of heaven to be discovered that can do me good?
The advancement of your children, gentle lady.
Up to some scaffold, there to lose their heads.
Unto the dignity and height of fortune, the high imperial type of this earth's glory.
Oh, flatter my sorrow with report of it. Tell me what state, what dignity, what honour canst thou demise to any child of mine?
Even all I have, I and myself and all, will I withal endow a child of thine, so in the lethe of thy angry soul thou drown the sad remembrance of those wrongs which thou supposed I've done to thee.
Be brief, lest that the process of thy kindness last longer telling than thy kindness date.
Then know that from my soul I love thy daughter.
Oh, my daughter's mother thinks it with her soul.
What do you think?
Oh, that thou dost love my daughter from thy soul. So from thy soul's love didst thou love her brothers. And from my heart's love I do thank thee for it.
Be not so hasty to confound my meaning. I mean that with my soul I love thy daughter, and do intend to make her Queen of England.
And who dost thou mean to be her king?
He that makes her queen, who else should be?
What, thou?
Even so. How think you of it?
How canst thou woo her?
That would I learn of you, as one being best acquainted with her humour.
And wilt thou learn from me?
Madam, with all my heart.
Send to her by the man that slew her brothers, a pair of bleeding hearts, thereon engrave Edward and York. Then happily will she weep. Therefore present to her, as sometime Margaret did to thy father, steeped in Rutland's blood, a handkerchief, which say to her did drain the purple sap from her sweet brother's body, and bid her wipe her weeping eyes withal. If this inducement move her not to love, send her a letter of thy noble deeds. Tell her thou madest away her uncle Clarence, her uncle Rivers, yea, and for her sake madest quick conveyance of her good Aunt Anne.
You mock me, madam. This is not the way to win your daughter.
There is no other way. Unless I could put on some other shape and not be Richard that hath done all this.
Say that I did all this for love of her.
Nay, then indeed she cannot choose but hate thee, having bought love with such a bloody spoil.
Look, what is done cannot be now amended. Men shall deal unadvisedly sometimes that after hours gives leisure to repent. If I did take the kingdom from your sons to make amends, I give it to your daughter. If I have killed the issue of your womb to quicken your increase, I will beget mine issue of your blood upon your daughter. The grandam's name is little less in love than is the doting title of a mother. They are as children, but one step below, even of your very metal, of your very blood. Of all one pain, save for a night of groans endured of her for whom you bid like sorrow. Your children were vexation to your youth, but mine shall be a comfort to your age. The loss you have is but a son being king, and by that loss your daughter is made queen. I cannot make you what amends I would, therefore accept such kindness as I can. Dorset, your son, that with a fearful soul leads discontented steps in foreign soil, this fair alliance quickly shall call home to high promotions and great dignity. The king that calls your beauteous daughter wife familiarly shall call thy Dorset brother. Again you shall be mother to a king, and all the ruins of distressful times repaired with double riches of content. What we have many goodly days to see. The liquid drops of the tears that you have shed shall come again transformed to orient pearl, advantaging their loan with interest of 10 times double gain of happiness. Go then, my mother, to thy daughter go. Prepare her soul to hear a wooer's tale. Put in her tender heart the aspiring flame of golden sovereignty. Acquaint the princess with the sweet silent hours of marriage joys. And when this hand of mine hath chastised the petty rebel, dull-brained Buckingham, bound with triumphant garlands will I come and lead thy daughter to a conqueror's bed, to whom I will retail my conquests won. And she shall be sole victoress, Caesar's Caesar.
What were I best to say? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle? Or he that slew her brothers and her uncles? Under what title can I woo for thee that God, the law, my honour, and her love can make seem pleasing to her tender years?
Infer fair England's peace by this alliance.
Which she shall purchase with still lasting war.
Tell her the king that may command entreats.
That at her hands, which the king's king forbids.
Say she shall be a high and mighty queen.
To veil the title as her mother doth.
Say I will love her everlastingly.
Oh, but how long shall that title ever last?
Sweetly enforce unto her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
As long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as hell and Richard likes of it.
Say I, her sovereign, am her subject love.
But she, your subject, loathes such sovereignty.
Be eloquent in my behalf to her.
An honest tale speeds best, being plainly told.
And plainly to her tell my loving tale.
Plain and not honest is too harsh a style.
Now, these reasons are too shallow and too quick.
No, my reasons are too deep and dead. Too deep and dead, poor infants in their grave.
Harp not on that string, madam, that is past.
Harp on it still shall I, till heartstrings break.
Now, my George, my garter and my crown.
Profaned, dishonoured, and the third usurped.
I swear.
By nothing, for this is no oath. Thy George, profaned, hath lost his lordly honour. Thy garter, blemished, pawned his knightly virtue. Thy crown, usurped, disgraced his kingly glory. If something thou would swear to be believed, swear then by something that thou hast not wronged.
Now by the world.
'Tis full of thy foul wrongs.
My father's death.
Thy life hath it dishonoured.
Then by myself.
Thyself is self misused.
Why then by God?
God's wrong is most of all. If thou didst fear to break an oath by him, the unity the king my husband made, thou hadst not broken, nor my brothers died. If thou hadst feared to break an oath with him, the imperial metal circling now thy head had graced the tender temples of my child, and both the princes had been breathing here, which now two tender bedfellows for dust thy broken face has made a prey for worms. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come.
That thou hast wronged in the time o'erpast. For I myself have many tears to wash hereafter, time for time past wronged by thee. The children live, whose fathers thou hast slaughtered, ill-governed youths to wail it in their age. The parents live, whose children thou hast butchered, old barren plants to wail it in their age. Swear not by time to come, for that thou hast misused ere used, by times ill-used or past.
As I intend to prosper and repent, so thrive I in my dangerous affairs of hostile arms. Myself confound. God and fortune bar me happy hours. Day yield me not thy light, nor night thy rest. Be opposite all planets of good luck to my proceedings, if with dear heart's love, immaculate devotion, holy thoughts I tender not thy beauteous princely daughter. In her consists my happiness and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee, herself, the land, and many a Christian soul, death, desolation, ruin, and decay. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this. Therefore, dear mother, I must call you so. Be the attorney of my love to her. Plead what I will be, not what I have been, not my deserts, but what I will deserve. Urge the necessity and state of times, and be not peevish found in great designs.
Shall I be tempted by the devil thus?
Aye, if the devil tempts you to do good.
Shall I forget myself, to be myself?
Aye, if your self's remembrance wrong yourself.
But thou didst kill my children.
But in your daughter's womb I bury them, where in that nest of spicery they will breathe selves of themselves to your recomfiture.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
And be a happy mother by the deed.
I go. Write to me very soon, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Better my true love's kiss, and so farewell, relenting fool and shallow changing woman.